on BBC4 The News from 1967 with Robert Dougal.
Svetlana Stalin is hidden tonight somewhere in Switzerland after her flight from Russia via Delhi and Rome. News from Washington is that President Johnson personally ordered that she should not be taken to the United States so as to avoid straining US-Soviet relations. Our Washington correspondent, Charles Wheeler.
Svetlana's first American encounter in Delhi is said to have been with a US Marine Corps guard at the front door of the embassy. This was at 10 o'clock last Monday night. The guard called a duty officer. The visitor then explained that she was Stalin's daughter and wanted asylum. Finally, she reached the ambassador, Mr. Chester Bowles, and he accepted her story. The Russian ambassador then made strong representations for Miss Stalin's return to the government of India. And in the course of one stormy interview at the Indian External Affairs Ministry, the Indians were accused of allowing the Americans to abduct Svetlana. All this was reported back to Washington, and a prompt decision was taken to fly Svetlana out of Delhi while the administration decided what to do about her. In the end, the president decided that she should be persuaded to choose some other refuge than the United States, at least for the present.
During the week, she travelled from Delhi to Rome. Early today, she flew into Geneva aboard a chartered flight, travelling under her mother's maiden name, Alilyova. From Geneva, Alan McGregor.
Emerging from low rain clouds, the Viscount, with Svetlana Alilyova on board, touched down and taxied along the runway to the lane leading to a part of the airport usually reserved for freight planes. Steps were hurriedly trundled into place. Two plainclothes Swiss security officials bounded up them. They came out of the plane and down the steps with a short, stoutish, auburn-haired woman in a green raincoat. She looked tired, drawn, and rather bewildered. She smiled slightly but said nothing as reporters pushed in to ask questions. In under 10 seconds, she was into the car with the two officials. It accelerated away and left the airport through a gate usually reserved for service vehicles.
Swiss authorities stressed that she had not asked for political asylum, but simply temporary permission to rest. They said they were satisfied she had never indulged in political activity. This permission is valid for anything up to 12 months. Soccer and the fifth round of the FA Cup. In Liverpool, more than 60,000 people packed the Everton ground this evening to see the home team beat Liverpool 1-0. Another 40,000 watched the game on closed-circuit television at Liverpool's ground.
The good-humoured crowds filed into both grounds without incident. Everton's at Goodison Park was packed with a capacity of 64,000, but touts had difficulty in selling tickets to fans who arrived late. A mile away at Liverpool's ground, over 40,000 people watched a live television relay of the match on giant screens. High winds split one, but 7 remained intact. After the derby, the crowds dispersed without incident.
And at the other ties, Birmingham put Arsenal out with a goal 7 minutes from time, and Chelsea are through with a 2-0 win over Sheffield United. But Manchester City and Ipswich must meet again next Tuesday. The other two teams through so far, Sheffield Wednesday with a 3-1 win at Norwich, and Tottenham, who beat Bristol City 2-0. Nottingham and Swindon replay on Tuesday, and Sunderland and Leeds on Wednesday. There were 2 drawn games in the Scottish Cup third round, but Celtic beat Queen's Park 5-3, and Dundee had a 1-0 win over Dunfermline. The Leader of the House of Commons, Mr. Richard Crossman, spoke about Labour's differences of opinion when he addressed a party regional conference at Bury St Edmunds. He said that while there was talk of disagreement in the government, there was nothing more striking than the disagreement in the opposition. At the Conservative Party's local government conference in London, the leader of the opposition, Mr. Edward Heath, said the votes lost by the government at this week's by-elections were protest votes against stagnation. And all the indications were that Britain was facing another 2 years of stagnation and siege economy. The Labour MP for Oldham West, Mr. Leslie Hale, said today he had been misreported on some criticisms of the government. He had made them at a private meeting in his constituency last night when he announced his intention of retiring. A number of humorous anecdotes had been taken out of context. Well, Jim Biddulph asked Mr. Hale what his plans are.
Well, my plans are perfectly clear. I've said for a long time that I have been gravely ill, that my wife is not well, and that I feel the time has come when I ought to hand over, or at least permit the Oldham Labour Party to have time to arrange for a successor.
British military authorities in Aden say there's no reason for service families to keep their children at school in Britain over the Easter holidays. Only yesterday, the British High Commission advised parents to think seriously before having their children visit them. From Aden, David Tyndall reports on the situation.
Troops moving into Aden's trouble centre, the Crater district, have been given orders to shoot any suspected terrorist who refuses to stop after 2 warning calls in